From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. 5 Al Jazeera staff were among 6 journalists killed in an Israeli airstrike condemned as a targeted attack on press freedom. This and more in today's show. Keep watching Muslim News. President Trump has announced that he is seizing control of the Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C. The president is deploying 800 National Guard troops to the city streets. He justified the action as a public safety emergency in a city. At a White House news conference, the president stated that our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of violent youth, drugged-out maniacs, and homeless people. According to the official statistics, Washington, D.C. crime rate, however, is near a 30-year low. President Trump also suggested that Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and other Democratic-run cities could be next.
Pop icon Madonna on Monday directly appealed to Pope Leo to travel to Gaza, urging him to bring your light to the children before it's too late, as Israel continues with its deadly attacks on the enclave. She wrote on X, "Most Holy Father, please go to Gaza and bring your light to the children before it's too late. As a mother, I cannot bear to watch their suffering. The children of the world belong to everyone."
Norway's $2 trillion sovereign wealth fund said on Monday that it is terminating contracts with asset managers handling its Israeli investments. The fund has divested parts of its portfolio in the country over Israel's genocide in Gaza and military attacks in the West Bank. The announcement follows an urgent review launched last week. This was following media reports that the fund had built a stake in an Israeli jet engine group that provides services to Israel's armed forces, including the maintenance of fighter jets. The fund, which is an arm of Norway's central bank, held stakes in 61 Israeli companies as of June 30th. In a statement, it said it recently has divested stakes in 11 of these without naming the groups. It adds it will continue to review Israeli companies for potential divestments. Israeli soldiers have killed 6 journalists in airstrikes in Gaza City, including 5 from Al Jazeera, in what press groups call a targeted attempt to silence independent reporting. The strike late Sunday hit a tent outside Al-Shifa hospital, where reporters were covering Israel's bombardment. The attack came days after Israel approved plans to fully occupy Gaza City. Among the dead are correspondents Anas al-Sharif and Mohammed Qariqiya, cameraman Ibrahim Zahar and Mu'ammin Aliwa, as well as assistant Muhammad Nofal. A 6th victim, Muhammad al-Khald, is founder of a popular YouTube news channel. The Palestinian media office in Gaza called the attack a war crime. It said that Israel has so far killed 270 journalists and media workers in Gaza since October 2023. Al Jazeera condemned what it said were planned assassinations, holding Israel's army and government responsible. The Israeli military admitted killing al-Sharif but did not mention the others. Hamas called the strike a brutal crime and accused the world of silence. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza says Israeli soldiers have killed 68 people and injured 326 in the past 24 hours. 29 people were killed while seeking aid. Israeli airstrikes on Monday hit Khan Yunis, Gaza City, and the Zaytun neighborhood, killing families, including at least 18 children. The Palestinian Health Ministry has reported that 5 more people, including a child, have died of malnutrition in the past day. This brings the number of hunger-related deaths in Gaza due to Israel's blockade of food and humanitarian aid since March to 222. Of those, at least 101 are children. Witnesses reported heavy Israeli shelling and the destruction of residential buildings. In Khan Yunis, 7 members of one family were killed in a single Israeli strike. 3 more civilians were killed in Gaza City when a tent sheltering displaced people was hit. Israeli soldiers also opened fire on aid seekers, killing at least 6 near Rafah. On Sunday, Israeli forces killed 15 people in similar attacks. The UN warns that Gaza faces famine, with 1/3 of the population going days without food due to Israel's blockade. Since October 2023, Israel has killed more than 65,000 Palestinians and wounded 153,000 others. Israel faces genocide accusations for its attacks in Gaza at the International Court of Justice. The International Criminal Court has also issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. The Trump administration is pushing to throw out Harvard University's lawsuit over restrictions on international students. The Justice Department claims Harvard failed to properly monitor foreign students and cited raising campus violence. Officials also allege that some students supported the Palestinian cause. A federal judge earlier blocked the administration's attempt to bar their enrollment. Harvard says its international students are vital and accuses the White House of retaliation for defending academic freedom. Separately, the Commerce Department has launched a sweeping review of Harvard's handling of federally funded patents, calling its oversight inadequate. Harvard calls the probe unprecedented and politically motivated. The administration has targeted several top universities over diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI policies, threatening to cut funding. Trump has condemned pro-Palestinian campus protests as anti-Semitic. Universities say the moves violate free speech and academic independence. The Connecticut chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations is calling for a hate crime investigation after a hate incident in the city of Stamford on Saturday. The incident took place outside the Islamic Cultural Center of New York. CAIR says a man stopped his vehicle and yelled anti-Muslim slurs at families, including children, as they left prayer. A video of the incident was posted on CAIR Connecticut's Facebook page. The civil rights organization is calling on local, state, and federal authorities to investigate and step up patrols around mosques. Chairman Farhan Memon called it a deliberate attempt to intimidate worshipers, adding that hate has no place in Connecticut. They're urging residents to stay alert and report any bias incidents to police or through CAIR's website. Texas Republican Tony Gonzalez says there may need to be limits on detaining immigrant children. He made the comment on CBS's Face the Nation when asked about a bill he supported allowing families with children to be held indefinitely. The current rule limits child detention to 20 days. Experts warn that removing limits could harm children, while supporters say it will deter illegal crossings. Gonzalez called the issue a delicate balance, stressing the need to keep families together while coordinating returns to their home countries. The Trump administration resumed family detention this year, a practice scaled back under former President Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has also scrapped its age cap for new hires, opening deportation jobs to applicants older than 40. The shift comes amid a wider crackdown in immigration in President Donald Trump's second term. President Donald Trump says homeless residents in Washington, D.C. will be moved away as part of a beautification plan. Details coming up next.
We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump says homeless people in Washington, D.C. will be moved far from the Capitol as part of what he calls a city beautification drive. He announced this at a White House press conference Monday on crime and safety. Trump promised clean streets, safer neighborhoods, and swift action against criminals. He said homeless people have to move out immediately and they will be given places to stay, but far from the Capitol. He blamed the city's Democratic mayor, Muriel Bowser, for worsening crime and filth. This is despite official data showing violent crime in the capital down 35% in 2024 and 26% so far this year. The United Methodist Church recently marked 5 years of its Dismantling Racism drive. It began on June 19th in 2020, following the murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, who were all black. Arbery was killed by 2 white men in Georgia while jogging. Taylor and Floyd were murdered by white police officers in Louisville, Kentucky, and Minneapolis, respectively. Unlike many church programs that fade, this one is still growing, with strong backing in money, staff, and leadership. A United Methodist Insight survey found that all 52 U.S. annual conferences run anti-racism programs. These include pilgrimages to civil rights sites and tools to measure racial bias. Church leaders say the U.S. climate is less friendly to diversity. But they call ending racism a Christian duty, saying their work will continue for as long as it takes. A powerful earthquake struck western Türkiye on Sunday night. The 6.1 magnitude tremor was centered in the Sindirgi district of Balıkesir province. Officials confirmed one death after a 3-story building collapsed. The victim, an 81-year-old man, was trapped under the rubble. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan offered condolences to those affected. He said he is closely monitoring the situation. The Sindirgi Chief Public Prosecutor's Office has launched an investigation. Justice Minister Yilmaz Tunç said the building's contractor and owner have been detained. They face charges of causing death and injury by negligence. Rescue teams remain on alert in the region. The quake also caused structural damage to several other buildings in Balıkesir. Pakistan has rejected India's claim that it shot down 6 Pakistani aircrafts, including 5 fighter jets, during a 4-day conflict in May. Defense Minister Khwaja Asif called the allegation implausible and ill-timed, saying not a single Pakistani aircraft was hit. He accused India of making a desperate attempt to cover what he called a monumental failure of its military strategy. Asif said the claim surfaced 3 months after the clashes, despite Pakistan providing detailed briefings to global media at the time. He asserted that independent observers and foreign intelligence confirmed that India lost multiple jets, along with air defense systems and drones. Earlier, Indian Air Force Chief Amarpreet Singh made the downing claim tied to cross-border fighting sparked by India attacking 9 Pakistani civilian sites housing Islamic schools and mosques. India said it was avenging the April 22nd attack in Indian-administered Kashmir, where Hindu tourists were killed by unknown gunmen. Pakistan denied involvement and urged an impartial probe. The hostilities ended May 10th after the U.S. brokered talks. A Bangkok art gallery has removed and altered works critical of China after alleged pressure from Beijing. Media reports suggest the Bangkok Arts and Cultural Center took down a multimedia piece by a Tibetan artist, censoring words like Hong Kong, Tibet, and Uyghur from other artworks. The artists, many in exile, say this is part of China's push to silence critics abroad. The exhibition, titled Constellation of Complicity, focused on authoritarian governments' cross-border cooperation. Organizers say removed items include Tibetan and Uyghur flags, postcards featuring President Xi Jinping, and artwork linking China to Israel. The gallery said the changes followed requests from the Chinese embassy. Earlier this year, Thailand repatriated 40 Uyghurs to China, despite UN warnings they faced torture and harm. Rights advocates say the incident highlights Beijing's growing influence over free expression in Southeast Asia. Sukuk, the Islamic alternative to bonds, is becoming a key tool for African nations to raise funds. In recent weeks, 4 of Africa's 5 biggest economies have issued Sukuk to finance infrastructure and budget gaps. Egypt raised $1 billion in June through a 3-year leasing Sukuk underwritten entirely by Kuwait's finance house. It plans more tranches under a $5 billion program. Since 2017, Nigeria has raised nearly $892 million through Sukuk, aligning with its infrastructure goals. Experts say the growing appeal lies in Sukuk's compliance with Islamic law, its link to tangible assets, and its ability to widen investor participation, making it a regular feature in Africa's debt strategy. 2 recent studies on mice, published in the journal Science, have uncovered a possible way to stop life-threatening food allergies known as anaphylaxis before they start. A gut chemical called leukotrienes plays a key role in triggering anaphylaxis, helping allergens like peanut or egg proteins cross the gut lining into the blood. That is where immune cells launch a severe, potentially fatal allergic reaction. Researchers say that blocking this process could prevent anaphylaxis altogether. They found that the drug Xylutin, which is already approved for asthma, reduced allergic reactions in mice. It stops allergens from crossing the intestinal barrier, keeping immune cells from overreacting. Current treatment for anaphylaxis with epinephrine only works after anaphylaxis begins. This new approach aims to prevent it entirely. Experts stress that more research is needed to confirm the results in humans. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.